trying to figure out how to go live using YouTube instead of StreamYard. Um, Logan and I were at the Caldwell Night Rodeo the other night, and I was trying to use YouTube for the first time instead of StreamYard, and I couldn't figure it out, and so I was having difficulties with that. And so this is just a test, and so I thought I would, hey Jayden, hi! This is just a pop-up live. I'm trying new things with my channel, just trying to figure out how to do things that I've not done before. How are you doing? I thought while I'm trying new things, I will turn this around and I'll let you watch my kittens play in the yard instead of watching my face. There we go. That's Bianca. And that one there is Marley. I've got another one here at my face, or feet, I mean. See if I can get it turned here. Whoop, zoomed in a little too much. There we go. This one here is Darla. And I don't know where Miss China has gotten herself. But anyway, welcome in everybody. Hey Logan. I'm just playing around with YouTube Live, trying to figure it out. I wanted to go live using YouTube at the rodeo the other night, and I could not figure it out for anything, and ended up having to use StreamYard, and that just was not conducive to watching the rodeo, so you couldn't see the events very well. And I felt really bad because you missed out on a lot of the action. But I did the best that I could. So, anyway, you felt cheated. Well, you were right there next to me. You could see it. Oh, I don't know where my little Chai is. Chai is the most loving of the... Oh, there her is. There's my little Chai. Hi, China. I called this one here China doll, because she's got a little China doll face. And she is absolutely the most loving of all four of them. Darla is just coming around to allowing me to touch her. And I'm making progress with Marley. And Bianca is very loving. Well, welcome in. We have 8 people here today. I'm just testing out the YouTube live feature. I've never used YouTube to go live. I've always used StreamYard. And it's just a little test live here today. And so thought I'd let you watch my kittens play. They're actually not really mine. Their mom had her kittens under our house, and once she weaned them, she abandoned them here. When she welcome in, SG. I'm not familiar with you, but I'm happy to have you here. Had a phone call come in. I just declined it. Hope that didn't interrupt the feed at all. These two here little stinkers are still getting used to allowing me close enough to touch them. I'm working on it. But anyway, let me see if I can stand up and I'll show you my garden, how it's doing. I'm trying to figure out for next year what I'm going to do, because we have a lighting issue. Right now it is 3:39 here in Idaho, and we still have good light, good sunlight on this garden over here. But we do get a lot of shade on this one, which has been good for the zucchini, but not so good for some crops. Anyway, I am absolutely impressed with our self-watering raised beds. This is the first year that we've had them, and I've learned so very much from it. This is our purple potted pole beans here, and I tried growing lettuce in between the two crops, but until I put down the wire grates, we had an issue with cats getting in there, the wild cats, and so I lost all my lettuce. I have a little tiny bit trying to come up, but this is my zucchini. They're kind of wilty in the afternoons, but they'll perk back up. And we are getting a lot of really, really good zucchini off of this. I am so happy. I've had trouble growing zucchini the last few years, believe it or not. Zucchini, the one crop you can count on, wouldn't grow for me. SG, when you put your raised beds in, I promise you, you want to look into putting self-watering raised beds. You cannot go wrong with them. They are a little extra work and a little extra money, but you will be happy that you did. Right, Logan? Honestly, when the plants are really young, you do have to put a little extra work into keeping them wet, but you honestly only have to fill the beds up with water about twice a week. And that's all the watering you honestly really have to do. I have better, healthier plants than I've ever had. Honestly. This is a pepper plant right here that I overwintered last year. I didn't even know till last year that you could do that, but I did it, and these are by far the healthiest peppers I've ever grown, the biggest peppers I've ever grown. I mean, look at that. It's just loaded with peppers, and it's the big, healthy plant. It's happy where it's at. This is my black cherry tomato plant, and I decided not to fully enclose it this year and just kind of let it do its thing. And it's huge, and it's everywhere. And I have an Irish paste tomato right here. The one thing I'm having issues with, and I'm hearing a lot of people say that they're having issues with, no, I don't fertilize anything. I don't use fertilizer. I don't use any kind of chemicals on my garden at all. It's all organic. The only thing it gets is whatever comes through in the irrigation water. That's the only thing that I put in here. Now I will say I've had to use a tiny bit of 7 dust on my squash because we had a little bit of problem with squash bugs for a short time. Otherwise, I don't do anything with my plants. I did around my tomatoes and my squash, I put crushed, well, I saved my eggshells and then I baked them to kill any germs or bacteria, and then I crushed them real fine and I sprinkled that around the base of my plants. Otherwise, I've not done anything at all with my garden. These are a couple of other pepper plants that I grew from seed right here. This is an okra plant that I grew from seed, and it's just now starting to come on. Now, I did have a little bit of trouble getting my seeds started this year, but I've learned, this has been a learning year for me, trying new things, doing different things that I've not done before. I mean, look at how huge my tomato plants are. They're coming all the way over. This is a 4-foot by 4-foot raised bed. My tomato plant is coming all the way over to the far side of the raised bed. It's huge. Both of them are on outside of the bed. This is another pepper plant right here, if you can see it, that I grew from seed, and it's starting to put on some peppers. It's got a few buds on it. When I planted it, it was only about 3 inches tall, so it's come a long way. Then here's the rest of the Amish paste tomato, and then this is unreal. This is my squash bed, and also my sunflowers. Right here is a honeyboat delicata squash. I've got beautiful plants, but like I said, I had some issues with the squash bugs, and I don't know if that's been the problem or if we've been too hot or just for sure what, but I haven't gotten as many actual squash as I thought I would. But there is the honeyboat delicata, and that is an absolutely delicious squash if you've never tried one. Logan and I just love baked squash, grilled squash. Now, I do use the extra little tiny areas in the garden, in the raised bed, to plant other little things that can take up, and so I take up the extra space. I've planted some radishes down here in the spare space, and they're just coming on good. I've struggled to get my sweet dumpling squash going, and so I probably won't get anything off of it this year. This is coming from the other side over by the honey boat. All of this right here is coming from the other corner over there, and from down there that is my acorn, and I've got a little acorn squash growing right there. I've got a few others in other spots. I couldn't contain my acorn squash this year. It's just everywhere. Logan even attacked it with the weed eater, and it's still growing. It's covered in blossoms, but I've only found one full-sized acorn squash on the ground over here. There's probably more that I'm just not seeing, but it's huge. It's just loving the raised beds, and I use these folding tomato cages as trellises. This little squash on the corner here is, oh, which one is this? This is my honey nut butternut squash. Just a different variety of your butternut squash. I'm part of the Vineyard Chicks Survival Seeds 2024 collaboration, and this is one of the seeds that is part of that collaboration. I grew it from seed, and it is the Mariana tomato, which is basically a type of a Roma tomato. It's absolutely loaded with tomatoes. I've already picked some to ripen in the window because they weren't ripening on the bush. But it looks like since I've opened it up, maybe they're going to start ripening on the bush. It grew really fast right here. It likes the sun. This bed here is not self-watering, but I'm hoping next year to convert these beds like this to self-watering because it's been so incredibly successful. This is my kidney beans, and this plant's about ready to pull. It's starting to die back. The other one that I had growing has already died. This is another Mariana tomato. And then in the tub, I have baby butternut squash and an extra branch of a black cherry tomato that I pruned off of the mother plant. We have some flowers along in here. No, not Honey Nut Cheerios. Sorry, dear. Oh, your squash is finally growing? That's great, Tiffany. I'm happy for you. My Waltham butternut squash never did survive, so I opted to use the baby butternut in place of that for the survival seeds. This is my scarlet kale, and I am so impressed with how well it's grown this year. I've grown it before, and it didn't do nearly as well. And I normally, when I look on the bottom of it, I normally have like a mildew, or I have mites or something on it. The leaves are just so healthy this year. There's just nothing at all on the bottom of it. I am so impressed with it. I need to harvest it again and then start making kale chips. And I planted some onions with it, and I don't know if that's what's made the difference or just what. Those are, I believe, my Southport Red Globe onions. Then I have scarlet kale here, and my Southport red onions I intermingled with the cauliflower. Did I say? I don't know what I just said. This is Purple of Sicily cauliflower in this bed. I have so many different varieties of things, I forget what they are. Anyway, Purple of Sicily cauliflower with Southport Red Globe onions. And then this is a mystery tomato that I cannot figure out what variety it is, but it's really super delicious. I saved the seeds from a tomato that was given to me last year. Nope, not scarlet pumpernickel. Sorry. Not even scarlet pimpernel. And then we have our little cornfield. And I'm going to do it differently next year, that's for sure. And then I have some pineapple squash in here. They've had some beautiful blooms, but they're not putting on any fruit for me. And then I have 3 different kinds of beets. I have my Ruby Queen, and then I have golden beets, and then on the outside I have albino beets, and those albino beets are the sweetest and actually juicy. I ate one raw. It was so delicious. Absolutely delicious. Big V, welcome in. So glad you're here. And anybody else that's in the background choosing not to chat, I'm so glad that you're here. I apologize to anybody that I may have missed. It's hard to see the screen in the light. What attacked you, Logan? I didn't see the message come through. If the lighting was really bad, I couldn't see that. This is my carrot bed, and I have two types of carrots. On the outside there is the Chantenay Red, and then on this side is the Lunar White, and those are super sweet and delicious. Really, really enjoy those. Oh, my entourage joins me. This is, I have these little kids following me everywhere out here. I tell you what, it's fun. This is emerald okra, and they are just starting to come on good. And over here, I have Aunt Hattie's red, and I'll tell you what, Logan and I have discovered that red okra is absolutely the best. We will definitely grow red okra in the future. That squash plant attacked you? How dare it? You had to defend yourself, huh? Well, I'm sure it would have only taken a small bite. And then this on the other side, it's grown real slow. I doubt we get anything off of it. But that is Benoit. Benoit or Benoist okra. And I'm pretty sure we won't get anything out of it. Are you using my garden as your litter box? You're not supposed to be doing that, little girl. I had a garlic tub here, but they all just died. And I don't know what to do. It's the first time I've tried growing it, and so I'm not sure what to do with that. Come on, little girls, get out of my bed. Get out of my garden. Come on, get your cute fuzzy little butts out of the garden. This is my white scallop or patty pan squash, and it looks like this one may be getting pretty close to ready to harvest. Scallop squash is really delicious. You can eat it raw, you can bake it, you can grill it. There's so many different ways you can cook scallop squash or patty pan squash. And then we come to my potatoes. One of my potatoes. I have 2 hills of Yukon Gold, and they were just some potatoes I had in the kitchen that were sprouting, and I thought, I'll just stick them in the ground, see if I can grow them. And I discovered I left behind a turnip, and so I'm letting it grow. I want more turnips. I got to get them in the ground. And then over here, I'm trying some more new things. This, if anybody has ever tasted them, or if you've grown them before, I need advice, because I've never grown these, never tasted them, never used them. Oh, looky here, we have a dragonfly visiting us. We're normally just loaded with dragonflies. Anyway, this is a vine peach, or it's also called a mango melon. And I'm getting quite a few of them on here. Let me see if I can find one in a little closer. Thought I saw one well, there's a little tiny baby one. But back in here, there's the bigger one. And I know they can be used for They can be used for pies, and I think also for jams and jellies, but I've never tried one. I've never grown it before, but it sounded interesting, so I had to try it. Then over here, there's another giant Amish paste tomato. And I have sweet potatoes growing in the bags down here. This is a Richmond green apple cucumber. And it was really late getting started, so I don't know if I'll get any or not. This starts over here somewhere, and you follow it around. You follow it around. There is the mother plant, and that is my sweet potatoes. That's a sweet potato. And I have more sweet potatoes. There's the rest of it growing on over here. And these potatoes here in the middle are red potatoes. I have onions growing in here, and I believe these are, you know what, I can't remember if these are my Weathersfield. Nope, these are my Southport. Those other ones by the cauliflower must be my Weathersfield. They're all red onions. So, anyway. And then in the back, I have these really cool eggplant. They're super, super delicious, and they're real small. They're only about, probably about this big, and they're striped purple and white, and they're called fairy tale eggplant. Let's see if I have a tag in here, and I'll show you what they look like. Yeah, here we go. This is what I'm growing. This is our second year growing them. And oh my gosh, they are so good. We use them, we've boiled them, we've grilled them, we've roasted them, we've sauteed them, we've had them in omelets. It doesn't matter how we cook them. They are so, so delicious. And they're finally starting to really come on good for us. We're excited about that. And back in here, that is a cardinal basil, and it is so delicious. I love coming out here and I just pick a leaf and eat it. It is so good. Or I pick it and I'll crush it a little bit and put it in my water. Over here, I have more red potatoes. And this is a calabash cabbage, and it's a fiddlehead style cabbage. And another Amish paste tomato. It's not looking quite as healthy as the others. And then I have one of those herb rockets from the Dollar Tree, and I unrolled it, cut it in half, and stuck it in a pot, and I'm growing thyme. I actually was successful growing an herb. I can't believe it. And I have marigolds growing in here. And this is another fiddlehead style cabbage. This one is Coeur de Bue. B-U-E. Coeur de Bue. And this is the last of our raised beds that are self-watering. We're working on building an archway with planters on either side. This is my loofah, and it's really cool. Different times of the day. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Different times of the day, the buds open up. And then at certain times of day, the buds will close, like the one next to it. It'll close up tight. And then later on, it'll open up again. And then it'll close again. That is so cool. This is the first time I've caught a bee in there working it over. Isn't that fascinating? Oh, Craig, we are in growing zone 7A. We're right on the border of 7A. We could be considered 6B, but it's actually 7A. We live in a high desert, and so some years we get really cold, but most years we're pretty mild. I don't think that cabbage is going to make it, but that is a early golden acre cabbage. I think that one got attacked too much with not only bugs, but also with, I think it's powdery mildew in the center. So we'll see. And that's okay. If the other two will survive, I'll be happy. And these two tires, I planted my not cantaloupe, but Tommy apple melon, and it's similar to cantaloupe. I planted that over here, and I planted my sugar baby watermelon in here. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and nothing came up. So I planted a few more seeds, and pretty soon I ended up with 5 plants of each coming up in both of them. Oh, I'm so sorry, Craig. I don't know if I could handle living in zone 4 or 5 where you have such a short growing season. I hate that we have to cut our growing season off so soon. I love being outside and working in the dirt and growing things. I get itchy fingers all winter long, and in fact this last spring I started planting seeds and doing things for the garden in February. I couldn't wait any longer. But anyway, I ended up with 5 watermelon and 5 Tommy apple melon. And I've got a lot of blossoms on there, but I don't know if we're going to have time to actually grow anything. In fact, I don't know if there's even any melons started. Well, actually there is. I see one little teeny tiny baby watermelon on there. Isn't it cute? That probably will not grow to fruition, but hey, it's fun. If it gets any kind of fruit in it at all, I can share it with my cat who loves fruit. Hey, there might be a little tiny one on that blossom over there. But anyway, the only other thing that I have growing, well, I shouldn't say the only other thing. Oh, hey, did you know you can use a tub like this to make your compost? We have this big old tub, and we just started pouring stuff in there, and we keep it stirred, and we're making compost right there in that tub. You can see we got a trail of ants that come and go. We have earwigs, and we have all kinds of other insects that come and go in there, working that over, and it is turning into compost, and it should be ready by spring. We just keep throwing things in there, and yeah, it's working over. There is my mint. I actually have 3 different types of mint in there. I have Moroccan spearmint, chocolate mint, and I can't remember the other kind of mint. And then over by the corn I have mojito mint. And then I Pardon the mess. I have holy basil or tulsi basil right here, and it's starting to bloom. This is my calendula. And then in my greenhouse, I still have some stuff. You gotta have catnip when you have cats. So there's my catnip and my lavender. And I actually got celery to grow, but I haven't found a place to plant it so it can actually grow. And this is pink celery, Chinese pink celery. So maybe I'll find a place to plant it soon. So what are you all growing? You guys have anything unique that you're growing? I've tried. Craig, we do have 2 apple trees. And I have tried to grow strawberries and blueberries, and I've not been successful with it. The apple trees need help. We actually live... Ronson, yes, a Christmas cactus counts, and so does your little tomato plant. We live in a mobile home park. The name Lewis Acre Farm is a statement of faith because our goal is to own a farm, a small farm. And so every time we say and call ourselves Lewis Acre Farm, it's a statement of faith that one day we will have our farm. And we're attempting to live the homesteader's lifestyle now so that we can learn and be prepared for when we do finally achieve that goal. I forgot to show you this, and oh my goodness, I did not notice this. Wow. Are you prepared? Let me see if I can get this to turn around. Here we go. Look at this. These are my other sweet potatoes. But look at that. That sweet potato is growing up the apple tree. And so is this other one. They're using the apple tree as a trellis. And that one has grown all the way out of the tub and down. And it's looping back up to grow up the apple tree. Wow. We are going to have a lot of sweet potatoes. Oh, okay. I see, Tiffany. Well, I'm glad you're back. Blueberries and cherries and things like that grow here quite well, Craig. Orchards are huge here in southwestern Idaho. In fact, in a town not too far from here, where my husband works, they have the Emmett Cherry Festival, which draws people from all over the place. But I personally just have not been successful with blueberries and strawberries. It's something that I'm doing. It's nothing to do with the area where we live. Part of it probably has to do with being forced to transplant my strawberries this last fall. Or this spring, actually, is when I had to transplant my strawberries. And also not having the money to buy large enough blueberry plants that they have a chance to survive. That probably has a lot to do with it. But here's a volunteer raspberry or blackberry. Not 100% sure what it is. It just showed up in our yard. We dug some of them up and put them in a tub over there by the sweet potatoes, and there's another one in the yard too. But if I was able to afford the larger plants, I would be able to do better. Living in the mobile home park, we're kind of limited on where we can plant, and the new owners are getting pretty particular. So I have to be able to grow it in a tub or in a raised bed. Otherwise, they lay claim to anything if we move out, which I don't think is right. And I refuse to allow them to steal my hard-earned work and hard-earned money and claim it as theirs. So it's kind of a catch-22. But someday we'll have our own property and we'll be able to plant whatever we want. I had some really fun strawberries, and they would have survived if I could have waited longer to move them, and if I could have if they would have turned the water on and I could have maintained the water system for them better. But when we had to move them, it was still pretty cold, and they hadn't turned the irrigation water on, and I was having to hand water them using a regular water can. And being disabled, it was very difficult to it was difficult for me to carry a water can out to everything that needed watered. So I ended up losing pretty much everything that I worked so hard on. I had hundreds of starts of strawberries, and I lost every last one of them. Yeah, I want to get some blueberries and put them in some of these great big tubs that we have. And I have some smaller tubs that I want to put the strawberries in. But I've not had the opportunity to go and buy more strawberries, and the blueberries around here are just crazy prices for one plant, and I just haven't had the money to do that. And I can't count on when we'll have water here in the park. We don't get rain during the summer. Our rainfall, or our precipitation, annual precipitation, is 13 inches per year. So it has to be done through irrigation or carrying it out one water can at all. One water can at a time. But I want blueberries and I want strawberries, and I would love to have an elderberry bush. I would love to have a goji berry. I would love to have all of that. So we have so many little projects in the works, and it seems like we get going really good on one, and another one crops up that we need to work on, and so that one gets left behind, and then we work on that one for a little bit, and then another one crops up, and we don't get back to the first one or the second one, and so we have a lot of little irons in the fire. Eventually we'll get them all caught up. We'll get them all done. No, it's not your job's fault. It's just we need to get busy and get them done. We just need to prioritize and do them. So, anyway, well, I've kept you guys for 45 minutes, and it was supposed to be just a quick test live. So, who wants to see the kittens one more time? Anybody want to see the kittens again? Of course you do, Patrick. Hang on, let me see where they're at. Let's see. All right. That one is Marley, and she's over there to attack Bianca in the box. You can just barely see Bianca. Let's see. Oops, too fast. There we go. Bianca's hiding in the box, and Marley's getting her tail. Hey, Marley. Marley's not quite friendly enough to pet yet. And I'm not sure where... Oh, there she is, peeking out. Hi, Bianca. I don't know where Darla and China went. You gonna come out there, Miss B? I think she's looking to... Nope, she didn't. She's after a piece of paper. Where's Miss Chai? Chai. Well, I've got a paper bag out here for him too. And Bianca's going in the bag. I don't know where China and Darla went. Oh, I see where they are. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Turn around here. There's Miss Darla. Whoops. Sorry. There's Miss Darla playing in the sweet potatoes and on the apple tree. And then there's Miss China hiding under the table. And if you saw that streak, that was Miss Darla. There's Marley. Whoops, there's China. They are growing so fast. There's sweet Darla. They're getting frisky again. Whoops. They're getting all playful and frisky again. It's almost time to feed them their dinner. It's hard to keep up with them. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Victoria. So glad you came in. We were just watching the kittens play. Darla, you need to go get a drink. You're panting awful hard. Let me turn it back around. You can see the kittens. I can sit out here and watch them all day long. There they are. That one there is Bianca. And there's Miss Marley. Under the table over here, that is China doll. She has a little China doll face. Over here wrestling with her sister, that one right there is Darla. I sit out here sometimes all day long just watching them play. Oh, none of these are my grand cat. They, my son lives in town in his own apartment, and he and his little girl live there. And his little girl is a 2-year-old solid gray cat that has the build of a rex, or not a rex, a sphinx. She's long-legged, long-bodied, slinky little cat. She looks like a little slinky. And there goes China. Isn't she the most beautiful little girl? I think she's one of my favorites. She's definitely the most friendly. That's Darla and Marley. Those two are not quite tame yet. I'm working on those. I gotta get them in. We have a program here called SNP, Spay Neuter Idaho Pets, and they have their own clinic in Meridian where they offer low-cost spays and neuters as well as vaccinations. And my goal is to get these little girls in there and have them all spayed and then find homes for them. And uh-oh, you got Sissy a little too hard in the rump. That was a bad squeal. Anyway, I live in Canyon County, and they offer free spays and neuters to feral cats in Canyon County. These kittens were born to a feral mama under my house, and once she weaned them, she left. I was never able to get close enough to her to be able to catch her. Otherwise, I would have caught her and had her spayed. I don't think I'll have too much trouble finding homes for at least a few of these kittens, if I can get them tamed. Yeah, they're precious and so sweet, so soft. That one right there is the holdout, Miss Marley. I'm making good progress with Darla. She's starting to realize that being pet isn't so bad. So, anyway, that one over there, Miss Bianca, she's the first one I was able to get hands on. And then this one. Her little face is so sweet. They like to greet me in the mornings, and they'll walk me all the way out. I have a ramp coming out of my house, and they'll walk me all the way down the ramp and around to where I feed them, meowing and begging for love. The two that let me touch them. The others will walk with me, but they don't let me touch them yet. But I'll win. I always do. This one here is learning to allow other people to touch her. She allowed Logan to touch her yesterday. I believe they're getting close to 3 months old. It's time to get them spayed before they become mamas. Anyway, well, I now have had you here with me for an hour almost, and I really intended it to be just a real quick on and off live to see how it worked on YouTube instead of StreamYard. So I think I will let you go. I appreciate everybody who popped in and said hello, and those who stayed in the background, I appreciate you too. I will do this again in the future now that I know how to work it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening and a blessed weekend. Be sure to join me on Monday for Meet Me Monday. I go live at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, which is 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, and noon Pacific. So I am not sure if I'm going to have a guest with me on Monday or if it's going to be a topic Monday. But either way, I'm sure we'll find something fun to do. So be sure to come in and join me on Monday, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Have a great evening, guys. Now I got to figure out how to close this out. Do I just hit the X? Yeah, we'll try it. Talk to you later. Bye.